Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brooke and I'm a mom of 5 living with my husband and children on a remote farm in central Canada. And this channel is my document of my financial journey and was really, when I started out, was really my way to prevent myself from slipping back into bad financial habits and keep myself accountable as I got into using cash and budgeting everything down to the dollar, so on and so forth. So now this is kind of my record of my family's slow crawl out of survival mode and into thriving. So it has been quite a minute since my last video, and it wasn't really intentional. But in April, I started a new job. So it was supposed to be a casual job, but so far they've had me working quite a lot. And then in May, I went out to the West Coast to be with my sister for the birth of her brand new sweet little baby. So I was out there for almost a month as we waited for baby's arrival. And so between the new job and being gone, and then all the things that come with spring on the farm, calving and pasture rotation, and soon we will be cutting hay, all the things, it has just been wild around here, and I have found that by the end of the day, I don't have the energy or the desire to sit down and do videos. But I have missed doing it and I'm committed to jumping back in, and I'm so glad to be here again. So let's see what we're working with today. We have 1, 2, 3, 354, 20, 40, 60, 85, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 6, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 625 Canadian and then 2045 US. So it was so nice to be with my sister as we awaited the arrival of her little baby, and the birth went so beautifully, and it was perfect. She had a home birth, and the baby is a little girl, and it was just one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. I am so grateful that I got to be there for her. However, I will say it was also very difficult for me to be away from my husband and the kids and the farm for that length of time. And I am also grateful to be home. Okay, so we're going to start with weekly spending. I know I do have some ones in my gas envelope. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know I did notice that one of them is a star note, so I am going to hang on to that and add that to my collection. So I'm going to put that aside, and then these 3 we'll put back here. So it's that time of year where we've got the windows wide open. We do not use air conditioning, so you might hear the birds, you might hear the rooster crowing, you might hear some horses. Who knows what you might hear? Whatever you can hear, I hope you enjoy it. All right, groceries. Groceries this week is getting $350. 1, 2, 3, 50. And being that this is a Saturday morning, I will be going and doing all my errands, including grocery shopping, basically as soon as I am done with this video. Okay, gas. This is where our US money comes in. 45 US in the gas envelope because I do go across the border for our gas. which is far cheaper than buying it in Canada. The dogs this week are going to get $90. And this is more than I had been allotting for them, but unfortunately, the dog food that we were buying is no longer available, and the food that has been brought in to replace it is more expensive, of course, because it seems that everything is just getting more expensive these days. So $90 in the dog food envelope. And if you are new here and wondering why we need that much money in the dog food envelope, it's because we have working dogs, one of whom is a Great Pyrenees who keeps wolves and cougars and bears away from our livestock. And she is huge, and she expends a lot of energy patrolling our 360 acres throughout the night, every single night, and she eats a lot of food. Okay, and then the farm, the feed store, I don't actually need anything this week, but I'm going to start just putting a little bit in here each week so that when I do need to go, I don't need to budget a big chunk just in one week. So $20 into the feed store this week, and those are my envelopes for my wallet, and that's the weekly spending. All right, now we get into the part that I enjoy the most, the binders. This is where I can really see my progress, and this is what I really like to keep track of. So my emergency fund, I have still been consistently and faithfully cash stuffing even as I have not been making my videos. So if you had been following prior, you'll see that my numbers are a little bit different than before. But okay, so the emergency fund, we have 100, 200, and 300 in the bank, and these are just placeholders showing what I've put in the bank. So 315, and today emergency fund is getting 20, so now we have 335 in the emergency fund. So that's growing nicely, and I'm starting to feel pretty good about that. It's the first time in my life that I've had any kind of emergency fund. And in the past, in my old financial ways, if an emergency came up, it would be something that we put on credit cards or drew from a line of credit to take care of. And so an emergency would equal more debt. And I am determined that we're not going to go into more debt. And so it feels really, really good to have this emergency fund growing. And I do hope to get it to a point where it could cover 6 months of expenses, of bare bones expenses, if we absolutely needed it to. But let's hope it never comes to that. Okay, I do not have a grocery buffer at the moment. That got used up by my husband while I was away. The kids are each getting $5 in spending money this week. And they haven't had spending money in a while, but we are now into summer vacation as of yesterday. So I'm going to start giving them some spending money because we do plan to have some beach days and other fun times like that when they're going to want to buy some snacks. So $5 each for 5 kids is 25 bucks. And then if they do not use this, then I end up putting it aside in a savings account for them for their futures. Okay, lessons in sports is going to get 20. So we don't have any sports going on right now, but we do have some summer camps coming up and my daughter's riding lessons. So we now have 20, 40, 60, 81, and 20, $120. And so I have my daughter's camp in, I think, 2 more weeks. that I need to really make sure I have enough in here. So next week I'm going to have to fill that out a bit more. Clothing's not getting anything today. Shoes is not getting anything today. Instrument maintenance is getting $5. So my kids, I have a child who plays violin, one who plays viola, one who plays cello, and we have some on guitar. So this envelope is for things like new strings, rosin, whatever. So now we have 20, 30, 40, and 45. And then the envelope for my son's cello. My son is rapidly growing and will require the next size up cello. If you don't know about cellos, violins, and violas, they do come in different sizes so that small children can play. And with a rapidly growing son, that means we gotta soon replace his instrument. So I haven't been super serious about this envelope yet. It's getting $5 today, but I do need to start being more mindful. So now we have 20, 40, 60, 75. Instruments are expensive, and rightfully so, but dang. Okay, and then the bedroom makeover is not getting anything, but the washing machine is getting $10. So we do need to, at some point soon, replace our washing machine. So this is another thing I gotta get more serious about. And now that I have this job, I will actually have more available to stuff into these envelopes, which feels so good. So 50, 70, 90, 105. Okay, that's it for the family and home binder. My next binder is vehicles and farm. So, vehicle maintenance is getting $5. I guess at some point I do need to condense this because I have a bunch of fives in here. Oops. So, let's see what we've got here. 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. Yeah, it'll be good to condense that and have some larger bills in there so that it's not quite so fat. After a little bit, the envelopes get kind of full, and that's when I like to slim them down a bit. Okay. Nothing for tires today, nothing for tractor maintenance today, nothing for the tractor itself. Like, this is for paying off the tractor sooner. But today, hay equipment will get $20. So my goal was to be able to start replacing my hay equipment this year before haying season. But I have not met that goal. And the reality was that there just was not enough extra money to put aside each month to get there at the time being. I'm hopeful that with this new job that I'm working, that the money will add up quicker. But for this year, my husband and my father-in-law are working on repairs to our old hay equipment, and we're just praying that it lasts us for the entire haying season and we get the job done without any major breakdowns or calamities or whatever. So in the bank we have 100, 200, 300, 400, and then we've got 20, 40, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85. So, in this weather, it's a little bit humid at the moment, and I feel like my bills are just kind of, the plastic of the bills is just kind of like sticking to my fingers, and I feel like I'm just a little bit sloppier than I like to be. Okay, that's it for that binder today. And next, we get into holidays and long-term stuff. Okay, so we actually are gonna skip all the way back to Christmas, and we're gonna put $10 in Christmas. So now we have 20, 40, 60, 75 for Christmas. And that's another one I gotta just buckle down and start filling it up. And then this section I labeled dreams because, well, I labeled it dreams because at the time that I started cash stuffing, most of the things in this section felt out of reach. Like the idea of making extra payments on our home line of credit felt like almost like it was never going to happen. And paying off a private loan faster felt like it was not going to happen. This one isn't labeled, but this is for an extra payment on my mortgage, which also felt like it wasn't going to happen. Like when I started cash stuffing, things were so tight, and I just didn't see how I could make all these things happen. So that is why this section is labeled dreams, even though most of the envelopes in here would not be dreams for many people. They were at the time that I set up my envelopes. All right, trips is getting 20. I did have quite a bit in here and emptied it for my trip to see my sister. And now we have a big trip coming up in August for like a family reunion of sorts. So now I've got to start replenishing this one. And then this is for my husband's workshop. And yeah, it's just something that I would like to be able to gift to my husband because he's entirely selfless, and he works out of the garage currently when he's doing repairs to farm equipment or when he's welding or building anything. And it's such a tight, cramped space, and he's got to share the space because it's the garage. And one of my big dreams is to one day be able to build a workshop for him. And we would do actually 90% of the building ourselves. So we would just need to buy lumber and have concrete poured and whatever. So it would be cheaper than having someone come and build it. But anyway, we have 10, 20, 30, 50, 70, and 90 in there. 90 is a far, far cry from what we would need to ever build a workshop, but it's better than nothing. Okay, I'm putting my first $5 in this Portugal envelope. My husband is Portuguese, and we have been to Portugal, my husband and I, with my in-laws, but we did not bring the kids. And one of my big dreams is to be able to bring my kids to see cousins and aunts and uncles in Portugal who they have never met, and also to visit the little villages where my mother-in-law and father-in-law grew up. And so that's one day we will all go to Portugal together. And then the retirement envelope. And this one I feel like is almost a joke because we're farmers, and I don't know that farmers ever really get to retire. And I don't know that we would ever really want to retire. But anyway, I'm just putting that aside anyway. So 5, 10, 20, 30, and $50. And then back here I have some challenges, savings challenges. This is my $5 savings challenge. This is available in my Ko-fi shop, and I will leave the link for that down below. And it's actually a set of 3. There's the $5, the $10, and the $20. And it is free, so if you would like it, please go and help yourself. I have quite a few more 5s in here than last time I did a video, and more 10s as well. Now these savings challenges I have just been filling with money that I have left over from my weekly spending, if I'm lucky enough to have anything left at the end of the week. So they're growing kind of slowly, but it's just me challenging myself not to spend that last $5 or $10 after getting groceries and gas and all the things. And then back here I have all of my US ones that that I have left after getting gas. So we're going to add those ones, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38. And this envelope is getting mighty full, so I think I might have to start thinking about what I'm going to do with these. Okay, and that's that. So that is that for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back to regular videos. So all of you who have kind of hung in there while I went AWOL, thanks for still being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.